Jai Hind, this is Brigadier Hemant Mahajan. We again speak on various important security issues which took place on India's internal security and on external security, and the effect that it has had on India's security, and what steps we took as a country to overcome them. So the first issue that we are going to talk today is PFI, that stands for Popular Front of India. You would have read in the news that National Investigation Agency and the ED has raided this institution or this NGO at nearly 104 places in various states. All over all states have been covered, and more than 100 of its leaders oblique activists have been arrested. Now, in a very brief manner, as to what is PFI, why this was done, and is there something more that we need to do. These raids were carried out for last 3 4 days, and it was closely monitored by the National Security Advisor Shri Ajit Doval and also by the Home Minister. And the maximum number of arrests were made in Kerala, followed by Maharashtra and Karnataka. What we have to understand is what is PFI. PFI calls itself basically an NGO which takes care of various aspects of a Muslim community. But that is not the case. They have been accused of taking part in the CAA agitation, in the National Register of Citizen agitation, in many agitations. Now, what is happening today is that the nature of terrorism and radicalization in the country is changing. Earlier, it used to be bomb blast, it used to be gun attacks, etc. You are aware of bomb blasts that used to take place in our metro cities. One remembers gun attacks that used to take place, especially in 26/11, etc. But now it is changed to what is called as agitational terrorism, and violence is there to scare the society, stop all the positive activities that are taking place in the society, blocking the roads so that you damage the economy. The PFI has been cases have been launched against it for inciting violence at many places in the country, and the proof for this has been collected very painstakingly by the investigation agencies, especially the National Investigation Agency and the ED. And this will, of course, be put up in the court so that court can carry out an analysis and punish them under the laws of the land. Now, what we need to do is that we need to congratulate the National Investigation Agency. We need to congratulate the ED for having carried out a thorough investigation and have arrested people before they could carry out any fresh violence. In fact, today, if you look at the today's picture, the TV channels and the newspapers have been reporting that there has been a wave of violence, especially in Kerala, and masked men have been carrying out attack on the public property. The good part was that the Kerala High Court, which had given a ruling, if I remember it correctly, 2 years back, saying that bunds and dharnas are illegal and they should not be carried out because it harms the society. It stops children from going to school. It stops old people from going for their medical. It stops daily wagers from earning their bread, etc. So this is illegal. That is what they had said, and it has taken a suo moto cognizance of what is happening in Kerala and has told the Kerala government that it must start filing cases against people who are inciting violence. But what we have to understand is while we compliment the NIA, etc., but the fight against the PFI is going to be a long drawn affair, and we have to very methodically ensure that the proof is collected against them by in terms of their conversations on the phone, in terms of their conversations on the mobile telephones. Also, when the violence takes place, every piece of violence is recorded so they can be caught because of because of such acts of violence, etc. So, if this is done in a methodical manner, then only will we be able to stop this menace called the PFI. Also, there are reports some people are trying to say that the PFI should be banned, but I am not in favor of banning the PFI simply because if you ban them, they rise by another name. For example, SIMI, Students Islamic Movement of India, was banned. But what happened thereafter? There possibly The next avatar is the PFI. Similarly, the terrorist organizations in Kashmir like the Lashkar-e-Toiba, the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the Hizbul Mujahid have been banned. But has it stopped terrorism in Kashmir? No. What we need to do is we need to catch people who are operating under these organizations, operating under some new names, and punish them under the laws of the land. Then only will we be able to end this violence or the agitational terrorism that is taking place in the country. The next issue pertains to Indian Coast Guard. The good news was that the ship was under stress. It was sinking, and they gave a distress call. And the Maritime Dispute Coordination Center told the Coast Guard, and Coast Guard thereafter diverted two ships, a Coast Guard ship named Sujit and the one named Apurva, and they went there and saved the lives. So definitely they need to be complimented. The next issue pertains to Punjab. Now there has been reports that since last 1 year, Punjab there have been more than 100 sorties by the drones which Pakistan has used in just 1 year, and out of that we could barely shoot down seven of them. The other drones have come inside Punjab, and earlier what the terrorists used to do, or what Pakistan used to do, or what Pakistan's intelligence agencies used to do was airdrop the drugs or anything else on the open fields near the roadside from where it was collected by their agents inside India, the smugglers, etc. But now Pakistani drones are airdropping them on the rooftop of a house or near to the house of the agent or the smuggler, so that security forces are not able to catch them easily. Also, there's another news that Punjab Chief Minister Shri Bhagwan Singh Mann was on a flight where he was boarded. He was not allowed to board the flight because he was drunk. There has been a political controversy on this, but the fact remains that the social media today is viral on how Shri Man was boarded out from the flight, from the Lufthansa flight at Frankfurt, because he was drunk. Uh, Now, what we have to understand is drug terrorism or narco terrorism is a big thing as far as Punjab is concerned. Earlier, they used to be brought by human smugglers, etc. Now it is being done by drones. Border security force is guarding the border. We have a fence on the other side of the border, a fence on the almost on the border, but still we have not been able to stop this drug menace. The border security force has to tighten its security vigil. They have to learn to shoot down these drones. Maybe if some technology is required to be involved, especially anti-aircraft defense systems of the Indian Army. They should be deployed. Anti-drone systems, which are available but not very cost-effective, they should be deployed, or physically the drone should be shot down. Not only that, the border security force has to improve its quality of soldiering on the border. Otherwise, Punjab is going to be ruined. Today, we already know that nearly 50% of the youth in Punjab today are drug addicts. This is very, very bad, and this must stop. Also, there's a need to educate the population that we have to have zero tolerance as far as drugs are concerned. The smugglers who are carrying out smuggling, they should be caught. List of suspects should be made. They should be put in the jail. Also, people who are taking drugs have to be warned that taking drugs is bad for their health. It is bad for themselves, bad for the family, bad for the society. So unless this education is done in a big way, this will carry on. The next point in Punjab pertains to food security. Today, again, there are reports that Punjab farmers start burning the shaft which is there after the paddy, etc., is harvested. This is again expected to start by this month end. This will create a very serious, very severe problem of smoke and pollution as far as the NCR or the National Capital Region is concerned. The farmers have to be educated if required. They have to be stopped by force. We have to find there are a lot of solutions are available. The only problem is that it is not being implemented properly. Pollution is going to rise otherwise hell of a lot in the National Capital Region. The next news pertains to the Indian Army. There are reports that Indian Army has decided to shed its colonial past. It is going to change its uniform. Then certain other elements like lanyard, etc. The names of the infantry regiment may be changed, etc. And there will be an internal discussion in the AG's branch, which is responsible for this function, and they will carry out a review of the prevailing customs, old practices, regulations, policies, and they would be debated threadbare before any change is executed. The units, establishments, institutions of colonial past will be on the review. Names of buildings and roads which were named after British commanders, they will be changed. The meeting will also look at pre-independence theatre honours and battle honours given by the Britishers to quell the dissent by Indian states. Remember, a lot of Indian Army units have got battle honours of the Anglo-Sikh War, the Anglo-Maratha War, the Anglo-Gurkha War. Obviously, giving battle honours for these is not correct because it was the fourth Anglo-Maratha War which ensured that the Maratha kingdom was destroyed forever. Similar thing happened as far as the Anglo-Sikh War was concerned and the Anglo-Gurkha War was concerned. So these kind of things are not required. So if one remembers that last year, when addressing the Combined Commanders Conference, Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi had led an emphasis on indigenization of our fighting doctrines. We must fight the Indian way to defeat enemy. The procedures and customs also have to be Indian. He had said that we should get rid of the legacy systems and review the practices that have outlived its utility and relevance. Remember, last month only, the Indian Navy unveiled a naval insignia which drew inspiration from Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, and it was well received. Also remember that earlier, where the Republic Day parade used to take place, that was called Rajpath, which was basically named by the Britishers. Now it is called Kartavya Path. What is important is every citizen has to perform his duties. So therefore, it is very, very important that we all do our duties. These were all symbols of slavery. They have been now consigned to the history. And what we have to understand is the symbolism of the steps is very important because just 2 3 weeks back, India has overtaken Britain, which was our former ruler, to become world's fifth largest economy. We are today the fifth largest economy. If that be the case, we need to uh, uh, do away with our colonial practices, change the names of regiments, etc., where required. And also remember, how did the British Army shape the Indian Army? It was shaped on the regimental system because it had marshaled its forces to fight for the empire in the various wars, including the First and the Second War. However, India has a glorious martial traditions which was there even before the British Raj came. We had legendary warriors in the Maratha empires, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Sambhaji Maharaj, Rajaram. Thereafter, we had the Peshwas, Bajirao Peshwa, an undefeated soldier. We had Nana Sahib Peshwa, under whose leadership the Marathas had reached Atak. Then we had another set of brave warriors who ensured that the Maratha kingdom lasted for nearly 150 years. So they need to be honored, and we need to recognize their bravery and not the bravery of the soldiers who fought for the British Empire. Of course, well considered removal of the colonial past is a logical step because India today is going to carve a place for itself as an important power. And army is one of the most important institutions as far as India is concerned. So it also needs to make a clean break from the systems, customs that are obsolete. Of course, customs that are applicable today, we must continue to do with it. Just because Britishers originated it doesn't mean that we should do away with it. For example, the motto on the Chetwood Hall, which is there, duty, honor, courage of the duty, honor, courage, and your duties of a soldier, duties of the army, and duties for the nation is today relevant today also. So obviously, I'm sure that such a wonderful quote which is there on the walls of the Chetwood Hall will not be changed, and they should not be changed. But many other things will definitely should be changed. Now, the next issue, important issue, is the Army Day parade. Now, remember, traditionally, the Army Day parade takes place on 15th of January. It is at this time that the awards are announced for bravery awards, unit citations are given, unit appreciations are given, and our latest weaponry is showcased to the whole country. Now, this was traditionally being held in Delhi. Now, the Ministry of Defense has taken a considered decision that it will be held in the various parts. Why is it important? Simply because when everybody sees its army in his own town, he feels proud, he feels confident that the Indian army is capable of protecting the nation. So it's a big motivation. It also motivates youth to join the armed forces. So again, it is a utility. However, there are issues such as administration. The administration was well coordinated as far as Delhi was concerned, but that's a much smaller issue, and I'm sure administration will be tuned in. I'm told that the next Army Day meeting may take place in Pune. It will be a good thing to happen because even rest of the country outside Delhi also has to be part of such glorious events as Army Day parade, and they will would feel proud to see Indian Army in their own area. Now, the next issue is about the external security, and this is about vandalization of religious places of Hindus in United Kingdom. Communal trouble broke out in the litigious city of United Kingdom since August 28 after the India-Pakistan cricket match in Dubai. Now, the UK police did not stop the recurring violence, which caused tension to escalate and lot of damage took place to the properties of the Hindu temples, etc. The Indian High Commissioner has protested against it, and they have condemned the vandalization, etc. Now, this intimidation, violence unleashed has shocked the Indian community, which is there in Britain. The cricket match was just an excuse to show the latest religious fanaticism. There's a huge diaspora from India and Pakistan, which is settled in the United Kingdom. They have chosen that as their new home. But the diaspora there of Pakistani origin has been creating communal tension since a long time by provocative and extremist ideology taken by their hardliners, and this has been going on for a long time. The British police, the British security agencies generally brush it under the carpet. The reason is simple. The Muslims there have a democratic advantage. Their numbers are larger than the numbers of Hindu, Buddha, and Sikhs, and etc. So therefore, the British political parties want to appease them, and the British police thereafter do nothing because of the Muslim vote banks. Now, this is exactly what needs to be stopped. The United Kingdom or England or European nations are very fond of advising India on human rights issues, advising India on how we should behave, etc. But in their own country, if they cannot protect their own citizens, it is very bad. So we need to give a very stern diplomatic message to United Kingdom that you better protect your own people. The next issue is about recruitment of Nepali Gurkhas in the Indian Army. The Indian Army Chief Manoj Pandey, General Manoj Pandey, has told Nepal very, very clearly that they should take a quick decision whether they want to recruit their soldiers under the new Agnipath scheme. Now, Nepal was acting a bit tough, saying, no, 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 we can't go there. If Nepal doesn't want to recruit its own people under the Agnipath scheme, then the recruitment of the Indian Army to the Gurkha regiments from Nepal should be stopped because we have adequate number of qualified recruits in our own country. The message must be made very clear to Nepal that policies of India is decided by the Indian government and the Nepalis have no role to play in that. If they don't want to join the Indian army, best of luck, but they are going to lose. Now, the next issue concerns Afghanistan and Pakistan. Russia is upset with Pakistan, and it has been telling that a lot of international terrorist organizations from the Central Asian republics have started growing in Afghanistan and trying to create problems as far as Central Asian republics are concerned. Similarly, there is another report that as far as the SCO is concerned, Shanghai Cooperative Organization, One would remember that Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi had told Russian President on the sidelines of the summit, Mr. Putin, that today's era is not of wars and the wars must be stopped. And Putin also agreed to it. Now, India is going to become a president of the SCO in 2023. Uh, it is at this point of time, India has decided to confront problems such as climate crisis, energy crisis, food security, cooperation on environmental security, etc. Terrorism is also a big threat, and today all the SCO nations are facing threats of radicalization and terrorism. Unfortunately, that has still not stopped China from blocking terrorist designation of Pakistani nationals as United Nations proclaimed terrorists. But we need to keep on telling the world again and again that terrorism is a problem for the whole world. Also, we need to ensure that any organization, be it SCO, be it uh, uh, BIMSTEC countries, etc., are made use of to drive agenda that benefits the whole world, and the politics part of it should be kept to minimum. Will SCO succeed in that? That looks presently difficult because China will was the originator of SCO, and it will continue to create problems. As far as another news is concerned, there's a report that in Myanmar there are areas which are not under the government control of Myanmar, and 300 Indians have been taken hostage and they have been forced into cyber crimes. Now, this is a very sad state. These Indians who are been held hostage and been told to do anti world activities should be rescued, but it is easily said than done. Firstly, many Indians prefer to go to dangerous countries because they get more money there. They do not bother about the security. In this, they are helped by unscrupulous NGOs, institutions, agents who help them to get a job there. But a lot of times, what is promised and what is delivered, there's a vast difference. And these Indians start crying when they get into trouble, and they expect the government of India to rescue them. Now, this rescue from terrorists, rescue from areas which are not under the government control, rescues from a war zone, rescues from pirates is not easy. It's a very difficult operation. But what we need to do is all the NGOs which promise job outside the countries should be checked by the government for their genuineness. These agents, the NGOs should be held accountable if things go wrong, and they must be punished if required. Similarly, Indians going abroad must understand that they also should keep a tag of their own security and only go abroad by the legal means. Otherwise, they can get into security trouble as is happened in case of these 300 Indians who are there in Myanmar. The next issue is about the Ukraine war. They're almost in the eighth month, and the report that Russian President Putin has said that he is going to go in for additional mobilization of 3 lakh troops. Because initially, Putin planned the war with 1.5 lakh troops. He thought that he will win the war easily. That did not happen because Ukrainian forces were backed militarily and economically by the United States and the Europe, and the Russian advance was stopped. So now it is, the battle is going the other way, in which certain areas held by Russia have been taken back by a lightning Ukrainian counter-offensive. So this is a big setback. Therefore, Putin has told the world that I'll order general mobilization. I will use nuclear weapons. I will do anything to win the war. So this Putin believes that escalation is the way forward, and this is why he has carried out more mobilization. So this way, the war is going to enter in a more dangerous place. Now, I'm going to end up in next 2 minutes, but some good news. After 3 decades, Jammu and Kashmir cinema halls have opened up in places like Pulwama, Shopia, etc. Government has improved its procedures of Aadhaar-linked services, especially the road tax organization services, so that will ensure that the citizens get good services with the help of technology. India has raised the issue of human rights against Sri Lanka, against the Tamils in that country at United Nations. Obviously, this was to put a pressure on Sri Lanka and tell them that if you permit Chinese spy ship to come into your area, definitely we are not going to like it. Another important issue is that by getting cheap oil from Russia, which gave a discount of almost 35,000 crores. We have benefited tremendously and we have managed our energy security much better than anybody else. There are reports that the China is conducting DNA testing in Tibet to create a biological database to monitor Tibetan people. This is unethical and this must be brought to the notice of the whole world. And the last point it is that while Chinese economy is slowing down, their foreign direct investment is slowing down, the rate of inflation is going up, they're slashing the interest rate when the world is tightening their monetary policies. Chinese economy is slowing down because the production is less, the demand is less, there are problems with respect to food grain, there are problems with respect to ecology. China is in deep trouble and its economy is not going to grow even at 4%, which they thought they would. So this actually is an opportunity as far as India is concerned, and it also means that Xi Jinping, with the president of China, who's trying to get a lifetime term in next few weeks, is going to be in deep trouble. But problems for China give tremendous opportunities for India, and we must use it. We must ensure that the economic opportunities given by China's downfall, China's down of economy is used productively by us and to increase our services, increase our exports, increase our production capability, get into manufacturing capability, sell our weapons, increase our exports. So this is a great opportunity as far as India is concerned, and I'm sure we are all going to work hard and take full benefit out of this opportunity offered to us by the slowdown of the Chinese economy. I'll stop here. Jai Hind.